Welcome to my free series of leadership and ritual facilitation videos. You can donate to help me offer more of these classes and write on these topics. There's more information in the video details below.
The additional question is, have you ever had to throw out your semi-prepared ritual if the people or energy isn't right with the participant?
Oh, yeah. I mean, usually I'm throwing out chunks of a plan versus the entire plan. Um, I'll I'll offer kind of the worst case scenario on one of them. So I was asked to do a pagan pride ritual, and it was at an indoor venue. Um, and it was one of those big, it wasn't a park shelter, or I'm sorry, like a forest preserve shelter, but it was like one of those. So it's, like the cinder block walls, the concrete floor, the really high vaulted metal ceilings. So, we're talking like just a big echo chamber. And what they didn't tell me is that the ritual area was, if I wanted to do the ritual indoors, and it was cold outside. So if I wanted to do the ritual indoors, that was the only space for it, was at one end of the vendor's hall. You can already see where this is not optimal. um, and no, they did the call for, we're starting the opening ritual, and a few people came over, but the bulk of the people were just sitting at their vending booths and shopping and talking to the vendors. And I'm more confident about things like this now. At that point, I wouldn't have felt confident enough to do this. If I were to do a ritual in a space like that now, I probably would have grabbed the microphone myself and said, can I ask everybody in the vendors area to please bring your conversations to silence during the duration of the ritual? I probably would have just asked for that. There's a rule of thumb in facilitation: you cannot expect to get what you do not ask for. And I didn't ask for that, and so I didn't get it. So I'm starting this ritual, and it was supposed to be working with the Horned One in the underworld and facing our shadows. You sense a theme in some of the ritual work I do. And that was obviously not going to happen in this ritual, where there was so much sound distraction and people were laughing, and there was just way too much sound distraction. So I took what had been planned as a longer ritual, and I just collapsed it into about 20 minutes or less. It might have even been less than that. The trance journey, I just deleted entirely. There was no way they were going to hear it over the background noise. I had to do the same thing with, I had the opposite problem I was not told that the ritual area was outside, and this was for an Ostara ritual, and it happened to be, I think it was above zero, but well, I'm speaking Fahrenheit. It was cold, like see your breath shivering outside cold. And so we start this ritual, and I realize there's no way I'm going to get these people. I'm going to be able to do a quiet introspective trance journey. Everybody's shivering. That's just, it's not going to happen. So I collapsed in my ritual and did a much shorter piece, and added in some stuff to get them moving and stomping their feet. And I just transparently said, if you want to huddle in closer, you can. If you want to stomp your feet, and clap your hands together to get warm, you can. But this group was completely unwilling to sing. And part of that is because it takes time to get people willing to sing, and I didn't have that time. They were shivering and cold. I didn't have that time to build them up into it. So even though singing would have made them warmer, so it was a little bit of a paradox there. But so yeah, there are times when I have had to throw out a significant chunk of my plan, based on how things played out. Usually it's more like in my mind, I'm like, okay, I really want to use that sacred fire chant, that 2-part sacred fire chant. And then I'll do a test chant with the group. Like I'll have them sing something a lot simpler at the beginning of the ritual. And then I realize there's no way that chant is going to work for this group. So then I simplify it, and I use one of my backup chants. So there are kind of things that I do like that. I can't say that I've ever had to completely scrap a ritual, um, but yeah, I've had to just cut out large chunks of ritual when it was obvious it wasn't going to work.
Okay, I don't feel so bad about it now. Well,
What what
because
what
there have
happened
been
to you?
times where I've walked in and I'm like, yeah, this is not going to work.
Mhm.
Then we have to do something different. Okay.
If you have any questions about ritual facilitation or leadership for pagan groups, please feel free to contact me. I love questions and I love writing articles or recording videos for actual issues that people are facing in the community. If this webinar is useful for you, please consider donating. It is my goal to make this education available for all, but to do that I have to pay the bills. I also have several books available, and there are links below under Show More, or you can contact me via my website or social media.